Right.
It took no garbage out since. Oh, we're live. I don't see it yet. Okay, let me refresh. I think I see us. Okay, wait a minute. It says live.
I
But
see
I
us.
don't. Okay, here we go, Jameca. Let's get ready. We're gonna share this.
Mhm.
We are going to share this. Well, good morning. No, it's afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good lunchtime.
It's my lunch.
I still don't have my lunch. But that's okay. That's okay. We have so much to talk about. We don't have time
We
to
do not
eat.
have
Let me
time
just say
to
that.
eat. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so let's start. Let's go on and get started, Jameca. And you know what? I'm so glad we're here today because we need to give a shout out to 810 News Media because we're
18.
going to talk about some things that you don't get to hear
Mhm.
on the mainstream media.
Yep.
That's what we're going to talk about today, is things you don't get to hear. And if it weren't for platforms such as 810 News Media, some of this information would not get to the people. So would you all please share this? Please,
Please,
go
please
on
share
and
this.
share this because it's really, really important.
You need your moms, your aunts, people. Think about your family members who rely on like mainstream media. You need to share this with them and you need to have a conversation because these are the things that impact our lives, their lives that we don't see on main media.
Exactly.
So, I mean, serious. This is very serious. And so we really need to make sure that people get this information.
And so, I guess I'll start it by saying yesterday you shared a post.
I did.
You want to say something about that?
Yes. So yesterday I was looking because sadly I know that we don't always get information by mainstream media. So I try to really keep my eyes and ears in the streets as far as what's happening,
Okay.
what's going on. And I saw a post on yesterday. Um, this one, and it was from the Flint, Michigan Scanners, and it said, "FYI, we have no ambulances available in Genesee County right now." Genesee County, Flint is the bulk of Genesee County, and so this is where my family lives.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is where my most of my grandchildren live.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was concerned about that. My parents.
We should be concerned.
Yeah.
We should be concerned about this.
And I shared it because I wanted people to know to be careful, be safe, be watchful, be a neighbor. If you hear or see something, because we didn't have any available ambulances in the city. Um, and then that was striking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to try to figure out like what's going on with the ambulances.
Where are they?
Where are they?
Where are they?
Why
That's
don't we
the
have
question.
them?
And why does the city of Flint have no ambulance service? And when you see what happened, there was all over social media yesterday an incident that happened in the Shields family, Clarissa Shields family. Now, while that was in Burton, that's Genesee County, and that's an example of what could happen in Flint and what has happened in Flint,
When
if
you
we tell
don't
the
have,
truth.
yeah, when you don't have services available, and and condolences to that family.
Exactly.
They're in our thoughts and prayers, and it's upsetting. When things like this happen, it's really upsetting. And then to like start peeling back those onion layers and finding out some of those other things that have been occurring because we don't have ambulance services. I was looking again.
Are you going to the article?
No, actually, I'm going to read another Facebook post.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Because I was looking at a post posted by Tanya Burns, and it says this document is from the Genesee County 911 Center. This weekend, again in Flint, emergency calls for help had no available ambulances. On September 15th, Mayor Neely
That's
stated,
what I thought you were going to, right?
yeah, that this public-private partnership will help to ensure residents will get a level of quality of services and safety for our city. So basically, he did a press conference, and the thing about these press conferences that are really bothering me is because they aren't really press conferences for to inform the community. they're a way to use the press to campaign, and that's not
And to
okay.
misinform the
And
community.
misinform
And
the
lead the
community.
community to believe that we have protections and safety measures in place for
Mhm.
emergencies, when in fact, the city of Flint has no ambulance service.
And so on the September 15th, he did this big thing, this big hoopla about how we had these services and how these services were available to us. And so there will be more ambulances on the street. And
Mhm.
then you look at this document from the 911 center, and it says EMS critical status from day shift to 1700 throughout the night shift. So 1740 throughout the night shift. 1740, that's a military time, and that's 4:40 p.m. It was noticed that at 21:43, so that's 16, 17, 18, 21. So that's 5:43. Am I doing that right? Hours that Stat EMS did not have any ambulance in service. When called, they advised their only ambulance tonight was out for maintenance. Looking into
Their what?
their only ambulance tonight was out for maintenance. Looking into further, Stat has not had an ambulance in service since 1943 hours. So that's 143. So we went all day and all night. Went the bulk of the day, all afternoon and all night from this is just one report without an ambulance service. So we're having issues in our community where people need help and we don't have anybody to help us. But at the same time, we have a mayor who's lying, who's misleading this community, lying and lying and telling people that we have something that we don't. And see, some lies are dangerous. And that's a dangerous lie.
That's a very dangerous one. And we know that on average, we get 73 calls a day from Flint for EMS services. And so we have no ambulance service, but he signed a contract. He signed an exclusive contract with Stat. But they don't have the resources to do what they need to do. They don't have the resources to be able to take care of the residents of a city the size of Flint. And so how do you sign an exclusive contract for this? And I'm going to tie this to ARPA dollars because I keep going back to these ARPA dollars are supposed to be used to help the residents of the city of Flint. We've talked about housing and roofs and doors and windows and stairs, an ambulance. I mean, we could get an ambulance, and I'm gonna tell you something, Jameca. I don't know if you remember this. We were working on a proposal before when we were there at City Hall, and we wanted to do something with getting our own because I was trying to figure out we wanted to be a sustaining city. We need to stop counting on everybody else to take care of us when we should be able to take care of ourselves. But things are just being dismantled, so we have to depend on others for the largest city in Genesee County, which makes no sense. Because one of the things that we could be doing is teaching a class. A class could be taught for residents to get EMT certification. If we could do something like that, that would have an immediate job pool for the firefighters because firefighters are trained for that. They're certified for that. And so that's something that we were looking at, was putting that in place. I took some notes. And then, because they have the EMT certification, the firefighters, I mean, that would be a win-win. I mean, we could be getting residents certified, people in the city of Flint for this kind of certification.
So that's a job.
That's a job right here. But it's a job anywhere. It was kind of like with W.T. Stevens. Those are jobs you can have anywhere across this country. You can go anywhere and be able to have a good job and take care of yourself and your family. And right now, we've got a shortage. We've got an EMT shortage. So that's why I'm saying this could have been a win-win. And we have those ARPA dollars sitting there where we could
have our own ambulance trucks,
right,
and teach our class
and
have
teach
people
our
ready.
class.
So we would know that if Stat or if whoever has a maintenance issue with their truck, we still got the Flint trucks.
Okay, but Stat right now doesn't have the staffing to be able to do it. And they don't have the liability insurance.
So we just hit. And you know what? We have residents who rely on services. When we make a call, somebody should come. We shouldn't have the things that we're having take place on our city streets. We shouldn't have.
Well, here's what I'll say.
Go back to.
Okay, go back to it. But here's what I say. And if that's the situation we're in, tell us the truth.
Tell us the truth.
Just tell us the truth so we can figure out, okay, what's my backup plan? I mean, what do we do?
So we're having those conversations.
Right.
If you have an asthma attack and you call 911 and they can't come, this is what you do next.
Yeah. And so this signed exclusive agreement really gives other ambulance companies permission to stay out of Flint. And that goes against the protocol because the protocol says dispatch the closest ambulance. That's what the protocol says. So we're in trouble. We're in trouble. And that's what the community needs to know. They need to know the truth. One of the things I always talked about was I'm going to give you the information, whether it's good news or bad news, because you cannot make an informed, educated decision about how you are going to protect yourself and your family in this community if you don't have all of the information. And so you're right to mislead this community, to tell us that we've got these things in place and we don't have these things in place. I mean, but
Thursday morning,
okay.
someone found on the sidewalk at 7:45 a.m. But we don't have ambulances, and we got people just laying out on the streets. What?
Like I said, someone just gave birth on the street because we don't have ambulance service.
They gave birth on the street.
Yes, I kid you not.
And there was nobody to come and pick them up and take them to a clean hospital with medical.
Well, you can't use, fire trucks can't be used for transportation. That's not what they're set up for. That's why we need our own. That's why something we were working on. And when you have, like $94 million sitting there, and what you get is but you got a speed hump in front of your house.
That went down.
But you have a speed hump in front of your house.
Because there's a speed hump in front of the mayor's house, right?
Yes.
And but we don't have ambulance service in the city.
But they're gonna slow down in front of your house because you have a speed hump. So we know ARPA dollars were spent for that.
ARPA dollars were spent for that. But in the meantime, we have people having babies on the sidewalk.
Being in accidents, having, this is your physical health.
Being in accidents.
All kind of things. And we don't have ambulance services. And this community was told that we do. But we've been misled.
And it's the life for me.
Right.
It's the life for me. How dare you tell us we have something that we don't have? And so we're depending on it. Quit lying to us. And then you want to walk around and try to calmly lie to people and try to further divide this community. I'm angry.
I know you are. I know you are.
Angry.
I know you're mad.
Because you just walking around trying to divide this community, telling us lies, telling us anything. So you were
tell us about a degree.
Right. If you lie about a degree.
Then you will, really, if you will lie about a degree, you will lie about anything.
Yeah.
Because that was such an unnecessary lie. 911 services, having an ambulance, that's necessary information. That is the difference between life and death. And we know the time that someone can get there determines many times whether you live or die. And if you live, the quality of life you have as a result of how timely they were able to get there. And we know that let me read this because, he signed a contract with a company that's been written up for a violation and not being in compliance with the 911 consortium and can't service the contracts they have. But he granted them an exclusive contract and they don't have the resources for the city of Flint.
That's the crazy part.
But that goes back to what the original plan was, to change this form of government so we could be a metropolitan form of government to give away all of our resources to the county. So Flint would be dependent, the largest city in the county. And people forget we are Genesee County. Flint is in Genesee County. We are the main hub of Genesee County, but we have to be dependent on everybody outside. Now, you make that make sense. That doesn't make
sense. Why would we be dependent on the smaller communities? That's crazy. Why wouldn't we have our own? Flint should be the place that has everything. Everybody else should come to us. We should be the independent ones. So and so I think that that's one that well not I think I know that that's another reason that I'm so excited for you to be elected again is knowing that if the ARPA money hasn't been squandered before you get there, that you're gonna work, to help us get our own ambulance service. We should have our own. You're gonna work to make sure that Flint residents are, or Flint as a whole, it functions as an independent municipality.
Right. We need to be able to sustain
We need
ourselves,
to
and we
be
should. I don't know if you
self-sustaining.
remember when we were on 9, 10 a.m. and I had the guy. Oh, I cannot think of his name. He was a state representative out of Jackson, Mississippi.
Was it Singleton?
I don't know. It starts with an S.
I think well, I'm pretty sure it was Singleton because I remember that name. I know one of them was named Singleton.
But we were talking about these ARPA funds that were coming in, and he was doing things with the black farmers, and he was talking about that, and he said this is a perfect time for cities to be able to build their own inventory, get their own stock, and stop having to outsource everything. I mean, if you don't have garbage trucks, get them. If you don't have ambulance, get them. If you don't have lawnmowers, this is the perfect time.
In Georgia?
No, he was in Mississippi. He was from Jackson, Mississippi. And, I kept thinking, this is what we should be doing. These were things we were talking about doing when we were there. Was what are the things we can do to put in place?
That's it.
No, that's not him.
Well, but we know what you're
Yeah,
you're
I'm finding
talking
his
about.
name, but I had him on, and those were some of the things that they were saying could be done with these ARPA funds. It was a way for cities to be able to help themselves hire people from the city to be able to do these things. I mean, if we put this plan in place that we had started talking about, and being able to offer courses for people to become EMTs and be certified in that. I mean, to have a pool for firefighters already, a job pool available for them already. I mean, that would be
amazing.
That would be amazing.
To have people's services available to people, because when you're in an emergency, every second counts, every minute counts. To be able to have our own, to be able to have, like you said, the stock of services, of equipment built up to the point that we have what we need when we need them. It would be nice.
Exactly.
And we can. We have the ability right now to be able to do it. And that's not what we're getting. And it's concerning. It's concerning.
It should be concerning. We ought to be, not only should we be concerned, we ought to be very angry. We ought to be angry about this because it just is a terrible, terrible position for us to be in. It's an unsafe position for us to be in. And people should know that.
Yeah.
They need to know that. And to go out, like you said, and use the media to lead this community to believe that we are, not only do we have this service, but we're going to shorten the wait time for this service. That's just a bold-faced lie.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Let's just call it what it is. It's not true. It's not true. And we ought to be tired of hearing things that aren't true.
Yeah, they're tired of being lied to.
He may not be tired of lying to us, but we ought to be tired of being hearing the lies. I'll tell you that.
We're tired of being lied to. He's running around the community just lying.
Exactly. Exactly. So
I'm just tired of it because it's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to lie and say the crime is down. It's dangerous to underreport things that need to be reported.
Yes.
It's dangerous for us to not be able to get emergency services to us when we need them. It's dangerous.
And you don't hear about it.
And you don't hear about it.
That's what's even worse is you don't even hear about this. So that's why I said you have to have a platform to be able to bring information to the people.
How is the You know what? I was gonna say how's the local media not, but I'm not even gonna waste my breath because this is crazy.
It's very crazy.
Y'all
very
tag the
crazy.
local media in the comments because we need to know why they why they not reporting on this? Why they not doing their homework?
What do
This
you
is
mean?
crazy.
They don't. It was stamps. To keep their stamps
Oh,
was
I
the
done
state
gave the man a
representative.
whole
You gave him your
different-
name. You notice you gave him
Right.
Singleton.
They ain't
So
getting
that
nothing.
then she was gonna say it was a cousin.
Right.
You know, that's my cousin.
Now if his last name was Patrick, I might have said.
Hey, we're not gonna go down that
Nah,
road.
bro.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah. I'm still looking for the Patrick that owe me $10.
Woo! I don't know this. So no, but
I want to use the ARPA dollars
Yes.
to help people. That's what they're for. That's what they're for.
yeah.
I mean, you know, like I said, I'm so tired of walking around and seeing people that need new roofs, that need new steps to their porch. You know, I was talking to a lady just Friday, and she was saying that, you know, she still goes and buys her water because she don't trust the water, which
Yeah.
you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. That's another lie. But she said, and then I have to carry it up these steps, and her steps are falling apart.
Oh,
And we've got
wow.
money sitting there. We want to do home improvement, but you got a $300 credit. That's what you got for your water.
How many steps is that gonna get you up? I mean, she's carrying water up crumbled steps. That's
And
horrible.
she's an older lady.
That's horrible.
She's an older lady. She's a senior, and she said, and this is my porch.
And that's what I'm saying. People lived here their entire lives. They worked here. They invested in this community. And now that we have an opportunity to invest
help.
back and help
Invest
them,
in us.
and we don't
Invest
do
in the
it.
people. We don't do it.
We don't do
I mean, that should have been a no-brainer.
Yeah,
To use that money for that. It should have been a no-brainer to use it for public safety. And public safety includes ambulance service. That's part of public safety.
It is. It is.
And there's money for that. And we could be getting our own. We could be getting our own, and you don't do that.
And you don't
invest in the city of Flint. You invest in people that don't live in Flint. You invest in certain areas. But anyway, I mean, to not use it to clean this city up, to not use it to fix these raggedy streets, and we have money sitting there. I mean, and I'm gonna go back to that opioid money for services and supports around drug addiction and mental health. And that money's been sitting there, almost $10 million that hasn't been used, and you see overdoses happening. And I told you, well, let's go back to the ambulance service because I remember having to call 911, couldn't get an ambulance. I ran to the fire station. I said, I'm gonna run to the fire station.
Because why
We
can't
need some help. This person needs some help.
right? And if we do our homework and see how many of these cars are opioid related, use some of the 10 million to buy yet another ambulance. That's how you
That's a
run
good
government.
idea.
That's how
That's
you
if
run
you
government.
care.
And when you
You
care.
need to- if you care, and you have to have a heart for the people. You have to care about what's going on. It shouldn't be about you. This is about how do you take care of people? How do you give them what they deserve to have? I mean, and like I said, this ARPA money, when I was working for African American Mayors Association, those mayors had a plan already. They're like, we're going to do this project.
You know what your community needs. You've already been having conversations. You don't go out and do a bunch of fake.
You said fake.
Fake. Fake. Community meetings. I'm just gonna do this community meeting, and then you sit on the money to campaign season and
get you a speed hump in front of
get you a speed hump in front of your house and throw a couple speed humps, here and there, and that's it. We don't have any ambulance service. We don't have any police running around talking about, oh, we hired 4 new police. How many have quit? Because we still down.
Right.
We don't have our police
truth.
officers are riding around in cars with equipment that ain't doing what it's supposed to do. Get us what we need. We can do it. And I'm so excited that you're gonna do that.
I'm excited about doing it. And we still want to know what happened with that fire. Let's just go there.
Yeah.
I know we've only got a couple of minutes, but I mean, I mean, it's just lie after cover up after cover up, and all that's what this is.
Lie after
That's
lie.
what this is.
Saying we don't have chases,
Oh,
but
that's right.
moms are grieving
Mhm.
their babies who were lost as
That was
results
so
of
hard to watch.
chases.
That was painful to
Mhm.
listen
Mhm.
to them talk about, losing their child, their
That-
children. I just,
Yeah,
it was
this whole
terrible.
cover up. How dare you cover up a fire that where two innocent babies
And they were
died?
babies, yeah.
That all of that.
Mhm. Mhm. And so we deserve better.
We deserve
We
so
just
much
deserve
better.
so much better.
Mhm.
And so I'm excited about it because we have an opportunity to make good things happen for this city.
2 weeks, 2 days.
But who's counting?
But who's counting?
Is it 2 weeks and 2 days? You're counting today. Tomorrow
counting
it's
today.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Oh,
But who's counting?
but who's counting? You're right. Who's counting? 2 weeks from
Who's
tomorrow.
counting?
But who's counting? So,
But that's, you know what, and let me just say this, that's the reason there's no debate taking place, because he doesn't want to answer these kinds of questions in publicly. He doesn't want to answer these kinds of questions on TV, because that was going to be, guess what, Mickey, they were going to put that on TV, but he said,
he didn't
we're
want
not going to address those kinds of issues.
he's not going to stand on TV in front of a podium and have to explain why he lied about his degree, why he lying about crime, why he lying about ambulance services, why he lying about
the water,
why
the pipes aren't finished.
Why
You
he
got
not
a
helping
question for
people.
that too. When you get in office, they said, "What's your plan for the water quality and high rates?"
And that, dang, okay, we got a couple of minutes, because that was one of the things we were working on. We were always working on the water quality, but it was also addressing the rates.
Right.
And Dr. Pugh was kind of leading that. We were meeting with some people because we wanted to put a tiered payment plan in place for people. And that's what we were working on. And we were working on that with the group out of Chicago. And we were also working with that. In fact, the MAP Foundation was part of those conversations that we were having. And we had a community group. It was grassroots. I know Nair was part of that group. Claire McClinton was part of that group. I think Bishop Jefferson may have been part of that group. But we had people that were part of that grassroots group to talk about what needed to happen. So that was one of the things that we were working on. And that's one of the questions that I've asked is, what happened to it? So do we want to go back and put that in place? Yes, because we know that water is a basic human right, and we knew it was a public health issue, and to not be able to pay for your water is a public health issue. And that's why we had health in all policy when we were making decisions. Because it wasn't about profit, it was how do we keep this community safe. And one of the things I said was we will never put profit over the public health and well-being of this community again. But that's what's happening. So no, we had a plan that we did not get to complete or implement, but we need to go back to that. We sure are. And when you talk about water quality, that was why it was so important to keep those meetings in place, because that's what we were addressing. And while I said the public couldn't come into the meeting, we were live streaming it so they could hear what we were working on as far as water quality standards. And that's why we had so many of the stakeholders at the table. I asked for those meetings to stay in place so people would know what was going on. They didn't. They didn't stay in place. Every Monday we put out a press release. I don't want to hear your story about what we have to do every Monday, because she gets mad about it, but she knew it was right.
It was right. It was the right thing to do.
Every Monday before noon,
Mhm.
we had the number of pipes that had been changed, when we were testing,
Where we were in like
every
neighborhoods we
single
were in.
Monday. And I had it on the billboard downtown. Instead, what you see on the billboard is crime is down 40%. That's what you see on that billboard.
And
Now you
that's a
see
lie.
mask up and crime is down.
And the lie detector determined
That
a
was,
lie.
oh, and it's 12:30. Oh, we're gonna go off with the Maury Povey.
That's
The
a
lie
lie.
detector. Okay, but thank you all for
That's
tuning
right.
in. 810 News Media, thank you. I know we ran out of time, but thank you for bringing this information to the people. We're going to continue to bring them the truth, and we're going to do it through 810 News Media.
Vote early. Go vote today at City Hall. Karen
right.
Weaver for mayor.
And I am asking for your vote. Thank you.